How are you? Good, how are you? Very good. Okay.
Okay, we are live streaming and recording. Good evening, everyone. This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May Star and Wave and the Atlantic City Press, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and has remained continuously posted as the required notice under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. We all rise for a flag salute and silence our phones. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
One nation.
We can all just remain standing for just 1 minute, and have a moment to reflect on the, school shooting that occurred today in Minneapolis, the loss of children's lives there. And as I've been made aware, today is Overdose Awareness Day, and reflect on the lives lost to addiction. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Antoncello,
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Here.
Mayor Sabo.
Here. Jam-packed agenda. On the work session, do we have any old business to discuss, commissioners? Under new business, do we have any new business for the agenda?
I just got, something came to my attention about, there's an easement between Bay Shore and West that runs parallel with Sunset. And for some reason, it's all opened up and overgrown with some weeds and trees, and apparently there's a big well there, a grate that will collect water. Is there any way we can possibly look into opening that road continuously and keeping it maintained?
Is it an easement or a paper street?
Paper Street. But
What's an alley?
if 3/4 of it's opened up, other than the 3 houses that go behind Sunset toward Bay Shore, those first 3 houses on the corner of Sunset and Bay Shore, behind those houses is all still closed up. But the remaining is open to West Street. It will also serve as a good easement in case of a fire or an emergency, you can get back there in between both houses and perform kind of rescue or apparatus. Mobility.
What's the road?
Bay Shore and West, he said.
You say it's between Bay Shore.
It's the alley.
Yeah, the alley between the parallel.
What alley is it?
I didn't see a name on the tax paper.
It's the,
McCullough.
yeah. You know, I'm notoriously bad at remembering the names of the accounts. Jack, a favor, please, just shoot that in an email to all of us.
Of course, yeah.
People, that would be,
I mean, there's a statutory procedure for converting a paper street into a deck street.
okay, thank you.
Okay. But
I
you
just,
all have to agree that that's what you want to do.
okay, so,
Yeah.
so when you talk about it, Dash, can you just give me a little more info on that? This,
It's done by ordinance, and the ordinance would essentially outline what the dimensions of the street would be.
okay, and then all have to be recorded and such. Okay, all right.
Be added to the borough's tax increase.
So it's converting an alley,
A paper street to a dedicated street.
It's already an alley, and I spoke with the residents that live there. The issue that we face is the alley up until the second house from the end is clear, and the fire department says they can use it, so we maintain that alley. There is a giant manhole, concrete manhole cover, and it's risen because there used to be a bunch of water there, and we put a storm sewer, and you know where this is, right? So the issue was brought up by Mr. Yazinski, who's in the audience. I've been to his house several times, and we've discussed this multiple times. And what I thought that we did work out an agreement, obviously he was going to you also, Jack.
I know you didn't, I went by it just to check out myself, and I realized that when I went down from West Street towards
You can-
Bay Shore,
you can
that
go.
car would stop. I didn't know why, and just that alone should be.
So I think the issue is that you can't go all the way through the alley. So you're looking at going past one house and then was it about halfway then to the next house where the manhole is? So we had a discussion that the guys went out and cleaned out, so the great. Mr. Jazinski and I've had discussions about what we can do next to help him out. So that's all been talked about. It is technically an alley. It is already an alley. So if you pull up the map, it's there. We did work there, how many years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago because it flooded forever.
Yeah.
So,
So those storm drain improvements will just not.
Or do you want me to plug the table?
You know what, we're close to public comment.
yeah, go ahead.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The next thing is public comment anyway,
Yes.
so.
Sorry.
Just hit the button for green and.
Lee Owensky, 601 Sunset Boulevard.
You know what, let me hear Tony weigh in real quick, the engineer about this.
So that would, if you wanted to convert that into an actual street, with improvements, there is wetlands back there. I know that because we had to get permitting in order to install those improvements, to alleviate the flooding. So it's not going to be quick or as easy as just bringing in a truckload of fill and dumping it there. Just an FYI, there's going to be processes and it's going to probably be, there'll be costs involved.
It could be, I believe after I reviewed the aspect today, I think so. It'll be less of a problem in the future with water because it's just filled up with weeds and the grade's doing nothing. It's become a big swamp.
Well,
Until they cleaned it out. I didn't know there was a big grade there until recently.
yeah,
Yeah,
once
yeah.
they keep those storm drains clean, so.
So
Well, as we know right now, it's a little clogged. It's natural. Leaves go up there everywhere
I believe
and trees grow everywhere.
That's a whole nother issue.
Well, issue, yeah, it's another issue, but if it was raised and tweaked and all to all work, this sort of accessibility. Nothing to our, no mechanical, just it's talking 80, 60 feet, 70 feet.
I'm gonna wanna look into this because now what I'm hearing is that it's not that it's already a dedicated street. It's just not an improved street, which is a different procedure altogether. So let me look into exactly what the legal status of the alley or street is and report back to you. And then that'll give you a basis to decide what needs to be done and to confront whatever environmental issues Tony is raising.
Go ahead.
When the borough decided to put sewage into the McCullough Alley, we opted not to tie into it because we're on a septic tank. So what they did, the borough, they terminated the sewer line behind 603 Sunset Boulevard. And that's why there's a 4-foot tall access plate to go into whatever is underneath. But, you know, as a result of poor grading, our backyard was starting to get flooded on a fairly common occurrence. So the borough did, at unfortunately at their expense, put in a grate about 15 feet shy of Bay Shore, made a right turn, took the the pipe to the corner of Sunset and Bayshore and tied in to the stormwater, okay? And then they covered the grate with like a fabric, a dirt resistant fabric to stop dirt from going in. All right, so, this alley, that was done maybe 3 years ago? 2 years, 3 years ago, that sounds about right. I didn't mark it on my calendar. But that alley has since overgrown with weeds. And the weeds have produced mosquitoes. And the mosquitoes have made the backyard untenable. Okay? So I approached Norm, the zoning officer, and Greg, the public works director, about cutting down the weeds. And their response was, that's the responsibility of the property owners whose property is adjacent to an alley. And, I couldn't wrap my mind around, why am I, as a taxpayer, responsible for maintaining a public alley? And they said, check code 17 subsection 2, which obviously I did. And section 17 subsection 2 deals with property owners' trees that overreach the public alley. It has nothing to do. You find this humorous? I don't.
No, I find it, I'm laughing at the response that you got from.
Well, what I find is untenable is that as a taxpayer, it's incumbent on me to maintain a public alley. I don't understand why. And the response that I got from Norm and Greg was not our problem. And I think that, my next step is to go to the zoning board and say, please further define section 17 subsection 2. Does it require property owners to maintain public alleys? So basically I was told, hey, do it yourself. We're not gonna do it. All right? And when I approached the public works director about it, he called the police on me. And that was his response. So what I find difficult is why this borough will not maintain their own property. Do you want me to mow the grass behind this building? Because that's about the same logic.
As part of
I want the alley clear. And that's not an unreasonable request.
So this is quite a few years ago, but I know as part of that project, there was special wetlands plantings that the contractor was required and mandated by the DEP.
There are no wetlands there.
There is.
No, I live there, I know, there are no wetlands.
There's delineated.
I mean, if there are wetlands, it's because the grading was done incorrectly. So you might want to check with the contractor that put in the septic line about grading. Because, Mitchell Nichols, the contractor, did not do an adequate job, in my opinion. And basically, it's a swale.
That's how it was designed to get to in the grade to get it out to the street.
It's designed to be a haven for plants.
I can look at the permits for you again, but you can't just clear cut wetlands to willy-nilly.
I find that ironic because 603 was wetlands before they clear cut at least a dozen mature trees and backfilled the entire lot. So I find that,
Let me just step in. I've been at the site, and the same trees that they clear currently are the same weeds and trees and growth that continues for over 40 feet. And there is a swell there. So they had to clean to make the grade, which is about 8 by 8, visible and ready for water. And it does sit low. It could be raised a little bit, and it could be regraded to be a little cleaner and safer. And in my opinion, I was over there, and it's, you have high storm sewers, low swells, it can be all worked and tweaked to be. In the end, if that's what you want to do with the road, other than that, it still has to be cleaned up, otherwise that drainage won't work. With growth over the drainage, you come through the drainage.
I remember what you,
Yeah,
what you're saying about the plantings, Tony, that was a very clear, requirement from the DEP with that project.
There are no plantings, Mayor. There are Phragmites that have migrated from the property on the other side of
Yeah.
Bay Shore, but there are no plantings. And I would ask you to come and identify those plantings, if you would. Well, you
Yeah.
got an arborist, I mean, get them to do an evaluation.
Well,
There are no wetlands plantings in that alley.
there were,
There are not any longer then.
somebody mowing?
No. They're 8
That's
foot
what I just
tall,
wondering.
Carol.
I'm just wondering about that out there.
Well,
Because they were.
it's because they're weeds. They're out of control growth weeds. All right?
All right, let's circle back on this. We'll do a little,
Yeah, we'll loop back. You want to give me a timeline on looping back? 2 weeks?
I would be happy.
A month?
I would be happy to have it brought up again
When?
at the next commission meeting.
The next what meeting?
The next commission meeting.
Okay, so in a month.
September. What? September 10th.
I don't want this thrown on the back burner because we'll get around to it later.
September 10th.
Okay?
We'll have it on agendas. We'll discuss it. Okay. September 10th.
maybe we could, in the interim, what's been cleared by us, the borough recently, within the
No.
last couple of days.
They sent a single guy with a lawnmower,
Yeah,
and that poor guy was slogging through for an hour until he gave up the ghost. I mean, that was a God thankless job.
well, that 15 by 20 foot area needs to be, even if
But
it's left alone.
they used a front loader to do that,
Sure,
but they scraped off the dirt barrier from the grate. Now, I emailed the public works director saying, that dirt barrier's gone, it's gonna fill up with dirt. Crickets.
well, maybe if they put a vapor barrier down, maybe a landscape barrier with some rocks in the area, all around that perimeter, just keep it clean and,
Oh.
as a temporary fix until.
I was told if you wanted to clear cut that alley, you have our permission to do it. And then you can maintain it from there. Okay? That was from the zoning officer and from the public works director. If I wanted to hire a landscaper to clear cut that, it's on me, $500. I find it repugnant that I have to spend my money to maintain a public alley.
Previously, that area flooded, correct me,
Yeah,
because it was wetlands,
Mm.
okay?
no, it was poorly drained, is what it was. I mean, it was
I'll run the permit for you, I'll give you the DEP's letter of interpretation.
okay, all right,
I'll give you that by the next.
okay, thanks, Tony. Yeah,
Okay.
you do that.
The wetlands are there, whether you like it or not. We improved them in order to stop most of the water from being back there, that was flooding onto your property at the borough's expense. And now you want to
The
clear cut.
wetlands were created because the drainage was poorly done. It was a fault of the contractor that put in the sewer line. They created the wetlands. All right, if you dig a ditch, water's gonna fill it. And that's exactly what happened.
It was wet previously, can we establish that?
No, The property next to me was wet. You didn't stop that. What you did was put in a sewer line through the alley. And it terminated behind 603.
Are we talking about different projects now? We've talked about the storm.
Well, now, we're talking about one. All right, just one. All right, the sewer line which terminated behind 603 at a low point because the grading was done incorrectly. And whoever supervised that project, excuse me, did a piss poor job. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. So, I mean, I know when I do any kind of construction, I have to have a grading plan that has to be approved. This one apparently was either not approved or ignored. So that project created the wetlands. Now you're maintaining that you need to maintain the wetlands.
We have permits from DEP because there was wetlands there previously.
The wetlands were created.
That's bad.
The wetlands were created by the sewer line construction.
The wetlands existed previous to our project, period.
All right. Let's do a little.
Can you pull all the permits in the project? And we'd be happy to review them with these. Out on your site, wherever you want to do. Yeah.
All right, let's circle back, because especially because if there was some sort of maintenance of those plantings that needed to be done that wasn't properly done, then we need to address that, so. Our conversation isn't done, but for tonight. Thank you,
And I'll be back.
of course.
As a commissioner, I would say one thing, I do find it appalling that a resident came to the borough with a problem, XYZ problem. Ended up, police responded to the scene because of this not communicating. I just really feel bad that this happens and it shouldn't happen. And it will hopefully won't happen again. If you have to come, Mr. Lewinsky, to this place, call me, I'll be here as a witness. So there's no more altercations and we can resolve the problem. Hopefully without calling the police on each other. I hope for that. I'm sorry about that.
Public comment on things discussed during the work session.
Absolutely. Dan Catherine, 207 Stevens Street. Tony, do I recall that grading project being about $135,000 that was spent for improvements to roughly 4 houses?
Which grading project?
The drainage.
Or,
That was just,
I don't know the exact number, but it's in that.
it's in
ballpark.
that much. Okay, and I know when you cross over Sunset on several locations, there are drainage areas that do require upkeep on a regular basis. So Carol, that probably is a good place to start. I am by that property most every day of the week, and it is grown over. But I find it hard to believe that we went through all the inspections that it would have to go through and that it was done incorrectly. Likewise with the sewer when that went in. But that alley has been, is the word conundrum, for many, 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 many years. People wanted sewer, it went so far to a tree because of wetlands. That's gotta date back 20 to 30 years at least. So the wetlands were there, but every time you push the dirt around, you just create new problems. And that's pretty much what I see when I go by most every day of the week. But it's disturbing to me that we would have spent over let's call it $25,000. And, now we're being told that was terrible. We need to do another project. So I appreciate that you're checking on that and
Just make sure that one was done.
well,
If there's maintenance to be done, absolutely.
multiple engineers that aren't in there in the inspections, et cetera, so I think that's a good place to look. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to make comment on our discussion during the work session? Seeing no one wishing to speak, we'll move on to the regular meeting. First item, we have the minutes from the August 13th regular and closed session. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 13th, 2025.
A second motion,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Santillo,
yay.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. There were no ordinances for introduction or publication tonight. Resolution 147-25, approving a limited brewery off-premises event for Bucket Free Brewery LLC at Breeze Farm Market Annual Harvest Festival. Can I have a motion to approve resolution 147-25?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 147-25.
A second motion to approve resolution 147-25 on the approved limited on-premises bucket brigade at Ray's Farm.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Santillo,
Yay.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. Resolution 148-25, revising the resolution authorizing the person-to-person liquor license transfer. This was the request of the ABC that we sharpen that point a little bit on our resolution with the retail consumption license. Essentially, this is clarifying that this is a pocket license. There was no location determined. If I missed anything,
No, that's correct. It's not a cited license, so
it's not a tight place.
it can't be a place-to-place transfer.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 148-25.
A second motion to approve resolution 148-25.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Santillo,
Yay.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. Resolution 149-25, amending the borough's personnel policies and procedures manual and employee handbook. Every 2 years, we are required to update all of our policies and procedures in the employee manual. The two items that are being updated are included in the resolution. I'll read them out loud. Additions to the Americans with Disabilities policy to include language relating to the Federal Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, which was passed in 2023 and had regulations issued in 2024. Additions to the policy against harassment to include language about hostile work environments arising from conduct occurring outside of the workplace and even non-work related contexts if it affects the workplace, which was contained in guidance issued by the EEOC in 2024. Change in language to the vacation leave policy in order to be more in line with the comptroller's report state law regarding carrying over vacation leave for 1 year only and only when cannot be used due to business demands. And an addition of an acknowledgement of receipt page at the end of each manual and handbook. So, Teresa has gone to great lengths to update this manual, and the resolution is on the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
I'll make the motion to approve resolution 139-25.
A second motion to approve resolution 149-25.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Santillo,
Yay.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Resolution 150-25. Anything in it? Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. For the record. 150-25, authorizing the closed session. Right.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 150-25.
Second motion, resolution 150-25.
Before you go, let me just make clear that this is to update the commission on some contract negotiation issue and a potential litigation issue, and I don't expect, it's purely an update. I don't expect any official action to be taken.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Santillo,
Yay.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. We have an ordinance for second reading and public hearing. This is ordinance 650-25, an ordinance of the Borough of West Cape, May regarding regulations of invasive species. At this time, I will open for public comment. If anyone from the public would like to come forward and speak on this ordinance, please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Eisenhart, 139 Stimson Lane. I just want to thank you again for taking the time to look at this. We all understand the environmental impacts of invasive plants, and I think that obviously one of the hardest things is enforcement. And I think that you guys did an outstanding job putting this ordinance together. And I just want to thank you for your time and taking the input from the Shade Tree Commission and the Environmental Commission.
And likewise, I want to thank both of those commissions for their educational efforts to keep people from planting as well. Anyone else for a public comment on the ordinance? Seeing no one else wishing to speak, I'll take a motion to approve ordinance 650-25.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 650-25.
Second motion, 650-25.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Antonelli,
Yay.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Sabo.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Commissioners' reports.
Thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to report something sad. One of our residents passed away, Mr. Bean from the Foul Track area. Been here a long time, 40 years, built this house not far from, it was over on First Ave, and being a retired fire captain in Jersey City, he was a fire, I met him on a campaign trail. He was a fire captain from Philadelphia, so we had a lot of time. And his wake was just saying, I know that besides myself, representation from Rick Brazil was there, something nice. At least we had some people from West Cape May. It's sad when residents, goes by so quick. They retire here in the 70s, they built a house, and now it's over. So just want to make a comment to that person. If you guys knew him, he's a great man. Police reports, we're getting close to the substations doing the open sewer remediation is expected next week sometime. The HVAC system has been cleaned and approved. Looks like they'll be there sometime in September. That's going out well. For the month of July, they had 313 calls with 3 arrests and about 18 traffic stops, 36 traffic stops, 82 public service miscellaneous reports, and 80 administrative duties. We also had the courts, we had a great meeting, the courts had an annual security meeting with Judge Caucus and the Amanda Mulligan, our court administrator. It's an annual meeting with the police and the whole court administration on the courtroom security. That was on August 19th, so that went well. And the police were there as well, and you forget how serious it is that you have to have a court system and all the do's and don'ts and things of that nature, so that went well. The fire department's been doing well, they've been keeping busy as usual. There's been no major fires report, but they're out there doing their EMS calls, and I saw them out there today with a gas leak over on, I think it was 3rd Street and 2nd Street. They're doing their jobs. No animal control reports. I know there's been some sightings of this notorious
There's a devil.
It looks like, I'm not sure we saw it. I saw by leaving, it'll say at dinner. But no reported yet, so if any reports happen, let me know. And again, if anybody comes to, again, the people who work here, our employees, if anybody has any problems, it's nothing personal. Just anybody come, even if you're right or wrong, let's just look it over, what was around, no problem, no fighting. And then everyone's doing their best job, you have a great staff here, just to let you know that. And lastly, the water report. We are in a drought situation for South Cape region. Not in the morning, we're still in a drought in the morning, not a drought yet, so. I think other than that, I'm okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jack. I have 3 things today.
Which one?
The on-the-job training. One of our neighbors in town, Thomas Halligan, is this one. This it's the same. It's good. He came in the other day and asked me to speak about this in our board commissioners meeting. He runs a program that is funded by a grant that helps people who are unemployed or underemployed get into the trades. And what the grant does is it pays half the salary of somebody. They work with different companies. But I'm just gonna read a couple paragraphs of what it does. And this program goes on every week. They have an orientation meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can get information about this program. But it's called the Cape County Workforce Development On-the-Job Training Program. It provides unemployed, dislocated job seekers the opportunity to learn a new trade or skill that leads to full-time employment. Here's how. Eligible county residents are hired by a private or public employer and receive training that provides both the knowledge and skills essential to perform the job requirements. If successful, the employer will hire you as a full-time employee. The OJT program, funded through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, covers half the worker's hourly wage during the training period, and the employer covers the remaining hourly wage. Eligibility is you have to be 18 or older, unemployed, laid off, or underemployed. So it's a great program that the county offers. I don't know if anybody knows anybody who would want to try this program, but it's there. And I can leave out the brochures and we're gonna hang them out there. This is just the other, there was a brochure and then there was this more detail. So we'll put this out in the lobby, so if anybody knows anybody that fits this requirement or has a business where they want to hire workers in this program, they'll get trained workers by the time the job's over. And and the grant pays half the salary. So they're every Tuesday, Thursday, you can just call that number. So, yeah, so that's Tom Halligan. He lives over on West. He's a good guy to get to know. Second thing I have is this one. Actually, sorry,
No.
favorite is out. Thanks. So I turned it for them out. That's the same I don't see. So there's a lot of comments about e-bikes, bicycles, e-scooters, motor vehicle, pedestrian law. The sheriff's department, the prosecutor's office put out this document, which I'm not going to read through it, but it outlines the role of the drivers and what they must do, all the statutes behind it, the pedestrian, thanks, Jerry, appreciate it. What the pedestrians need to do in terms of walking and where they should be, and then riders of bicycles and e-bikes and e-scooters, and the different designations for all of those. Right now in the assembly, I know in the House and the state, they have a bill that's up there that is looking at registering e-bikes, having a different structure. We really can't set our rules until that happens. We're hoping it passes. Lower Township did a resolution at their last meeting, basically asking that our assemblyman and our state senator back this bill so that it goes through. So we can consider doing a resolution for this also if we want. We actually have a copy of theirs. It's actually very well written. But this is something I know that we talk about constantly on our roadways. So I'd love to see the state step in here because it is a change in the motor vehicle code. We can't change the motor vehicle code. It's a state-wide reason. So if they change it, we can issue or we can do, yeah. So we want to encourage that. I suggest that we do a resolution for it and encourage them to support this program. And we can do it on the next meeting if you guys are amenable to that. And you guys can take a look at it. It's actually a pretty good document. I copied a bunch of them. We're gonna have them outside too, for the people. And lastly, I have one last thing, and this is one, I don't know if everybody has a real ID yet. But it's basically, Teresa, we got a mobile motor vehicle trailer coming on September 18th where you can get your real ID. You have to sign up on you have to sign, it's in small print there, so everyone listen here. You can make that a little bigger. Okay, you must sign up on September 4th at 11 a.m. There are 48 slots. For West Cape May, it's West Cape May residents. So the, Joe, we'll get that figure for you.
Sorry, sorry. We're gonna do a post and put it on.
Yeah, we'll post it on Facebook and so we'll see. But 11 a.m. on November 4th, you can go in and pick a time slot between 10 and 2. So if you don't have your real ID, you can do it. You also do your registration renewal. You can get initial permit that we're not giving tests, but initial permit, a non-driver ID, and a replacement title or registration. So this is something that we think is great for our borough. Again, there's 48 slots. It's for West Cape May residents only. Go in and sign up. And they'll be here on the 18th.
And if you can't make that date, DMV located in the Lower Township at the mall on Bay Shore Avenue, where Friday used to be. There's a thrift store next door. I'm on the Board of Commissioners there, where we're adjacent. Veterans of Patron Thrift Store, right next door to DMV. You can go make an appointment. It's rough and they'll be able to make that date. But I suggest you get that done if you don't have a passport to travel. You're gonna have to need that. This new ID, was there, they're pushing. Thank you.
Thank you for getting that. That's very helpful. You know, last night was the last farm market of the season. Thank Aaron Sear and the public works staff for keeping operations going smoothly. It was really, last night was spectacular. The weather couldn't have been more perfect. Nobody wanted to go home. It was lovely. But we have another event this weekend. It's the Tomato Festival, organized by Aaron and Teresa. Again, another great viral event, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. This time, we'll open for public comment, and if anyone in the public has anything to say, please come forward, state names and address. I'm sorry, Trepid District Committee.
I'm gonna share.
It would only work for those.
Deb Yamashita, 616 Broadway. Judy Smith, 408 Third Avenue. Judy and I are here tonight representing the History Committee of West Cape May. And for those of you in the audience that don't know that there is a History Committee of West Cape May, it was formed in 2004 as a nonprofit 501c3. And over the past 20 years, they have done a tremendous number of projects for West Cape May. For instance, behind the commissioners and Teresa is a beautiful mural that was done by a local artist, and it was commissioned by the History Committee of West Cape May.
Which one?
Rich fun. Back wall is a photo gallery. In the front entrance is and more pictures. All of that, with the help of Greg Basil from Public Works, was done by the History Committee of West Cape May. They also have done a tremendous number of community events. They helped to host the West Cape May 125th anniversary here in the fire hall. And they did a lot of community events like garden tours and house tours. Thanks to Judy and Maria Ivangello, we're starting to revive the efforts of the History Committee. And one of the first priorities that they asked for was to replace all the faded and damaged historic signs throughout West Cape May. So we are happy to invite all of the Board of Commissioners, as well as all West Cape May residents, to a very short dedication ceremony at 3 locations in West Cape May. Wilbraham Park, West Cape May Elementary School, and Ray's Farm. Rachel is working on some flyers, some save the date flyers with more specific details. But this is a great way to celebrate West Cape May's history. but it's also a great way to bring our community together.
Do you have the dates, Debbie?
Yes. So the first date is at Wilbraham Park. It's on Wednesday, September 17th at 10 a.m. The second dedication will be at West Cape May Elementary School on Monday, September 22nd at 1 o'clock. We just met with Tom and Becky this afternoon, and it is going to be outside right in front of the sign. And there will be students participating as well with the staff. And the William J. Moore Scholarship Foundation members will also be participating. The last event is on Friday, September 26th at 6 p.m. and that will be at Ray's Farm. So thank you for supporting us. It's a great way to celebrate all of our wonderful history, and it also is a great way to bring our community together.
I'm sure you have a lot of Doris stories too, Judy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
She was the dynamo.
Yeah.
Where to? They both went around to every house.
Yeah.
Asked them to be included.
And thank you. It's appreciated. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to make comment?
Good evening, Wayne Hoffman, 408 Fourth Avenue, West Cape May. Many of you know that my wife and I were in Montana last week, and the second day we were there, I typically turn my phone off at 5, 6 o'clock at night, and I received a text and a phone message, which I did not see till 5:30, 6 o'clock the next morning. I called one of my neighbors, and she had been locked out of her house, and she had to sleep in her car, which was unfortunate. I said, "I'm so sorry I couldn't get back to you." She said, "I know that you will probably know somebody to contact." So I did call up Greg Basil. He responded immediately. He met her in front of her house. He then contacted the West Cape May Fire Department, and they came immediately. Within 15 minutes, they went up to the second floor. The door was open, went in and unlocked her car. And then they fixed the key to the bottom door. She had a problem. So I just wanted to shout out to Greg and also the fire company for doing a marvelous job.
Thank you.
It's good to. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to make a comment?
Ronald 168 Stevens Street. First off, I wanted to start by saying that the farmers market last night was absolutely fantastic. It was incredible seeing so many people out, so many families, so many kids running around, amazing. But there was one thing that I noticed, and it might be a non-issue, but I thought I might as well bring it up. Towards the end, I noticed that as the garbage and recycling were being emptied, all of the recycling bins were actually being emptied into the garbage cans and then being carried away in one bag. So I understand that that might just be a necessity of people not keeping things separated properly, meaning attendees of the event, and it just necessitates mixing it because it doesn't matter. But if that's not the policy, I did want to make somebody aware of that. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cather, 207 Stevens Street. I would just like to do a shout out for the History Committee of West Cape May and the revitalization of that organization. That was a project of love that Doris, Marie, Judy, and others were involved with, and the picture by Rich Flanagan and all the pictures in the back that used to go around the room, but now they're contained. It's the history of West Cape May, and that's, I think, why we all love it here and why we want to maintain the wonderful character that we have, and kudos to them for bringing it back.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak? No, you're good.
Green, yeah. Barry Bittenmaster, 117 Emerald Avenue. Just a quick, comment, I'm not sure where, improvements to traffic safety on Broadway stands. I know we've had a lot of discussions about that. We had a speed limit, warning sign there at one time. I think that was helpful. I know it's a county road. Understand that. Last week, I had 2 of my grandsons out of 6 were here. When you have a place here in West Cape May, everybody wants to visit. So we had a great time. And walking up and down Broadway, with their bikes with, training wheels. You know, we run the sidewalk. There's a lot of unsafe behavior, on Broadway between bicycles, pedestrians, cars. We have people, you know, unfamiliar with the area. People from other parts of the country that are here. Last night, the Rusty Nail, the service from Romania, great guy. You know, we have people from Ireland, they drive on the left. So we have all kinds of situations here, with people unfamiliar with the area, unsafe behavior, consuming alcohol, other substances, etc. It's vacation mode. People aren't thinking necessarily with safety in mind. I believe it's incumbent upon us to take action. As a retired detective, I've dealt with many fatalities, many tragic situations, and to think about them. It's horrible to inform a parent that their child has been lost. You do that several times and you will carry that the rest of your life. And I just don't want it to be said that we didn't do everything we reasonably could. Obviously, there's a lot of costs involved. It's working with other agencies, maybe there's grants available. And certainly there's some short-term things we could take a stab at and quickly with traffic enforcement. In the state police, we have 2 north and south TPUs, tactical patrol units. You may see that occasionally on the Parkway, on the Turnpike, different highways in the state. You'll notice 5 to 7 troop cars. Well, that's the TPU. They're saturating an area due to increased accidents, unsafe motor vehicle operations. So they will saturate an area. Perhaps we can do that here. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Is there anyone else from the public who'd like to speak? Seeing no one else wishing to speak, take close public comment and I'll take a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second motion, close session.
Commissioner Antonicello,
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Dick,
Yes.
Mayor Deba.
Yes.